Hey there, y'all. Hope you're all having a good day. Having a pretty good day overall myself. In my last video, I mentioned that, I was putting in a pre-order for IPO Wbuy, and, uh, I'll fill you in on the reasons as to why, but, ultimately, did pretty well with this one overall. Um, I was watching it from the time that you know the order book started filling in, and it appeared that it was going to open up high, to begin with, and it started out like it was looking like it was going to maybe open up within the $6 range, $5 to $6 range, and there were some low orders, in the fours, and as they you know um, as they were allowing things to kind of work through and fill in, up until the point that they went live with it, it was like the orders, the bids just kept getting bigger. The orders kept getting bigger in size, overall, just thousands and thousands of shares. Um, and I think that the order book maxed out at like $12 in that area. And um, anyway, it was looking really good. And, with this one, I saw it opening up high. I think a lot of people thought that they were going to be able to get in, with around a $5 to $6, limit order, and I just didn't see that happening because I was gonna buy in at open with my pre-order, and I think I had a buy-in limit price of $5.50, and I was looking at things just, and I was like, there's no way in hell that, my order's gonna fill at open. It's just not gonna happen. Um, I did end up getting 2/3 of my shares. I put in a pre-order for $1,500, and so I had $1,000 I was playing with, and basically, and is what they gave me for shares. And you know, I was basically, as soon as it opened, and it opened up, I think around $8. I knew that it was immediately going to have a halt down. It was just a given. And that's just what I saw coming, and personally. So I wasn't going to just bail right out, of the gate. I wasn't going to get scared out, because that's a tactic that they love to use a lot. But if you're paying attention to the order book and, more importantly, the chart, and what it's looking like and what it's doing and how things are, you know, uh, uh, aggregating, you can kind of get a better picture of where things might be headed. And so, I didn't sell out right away, and I, held on. I think it dropped down to like almost $6, on the initial dump, and um, then they halted it up, and it got halted a few different times. Um, it wasn't just a couple times that they halted it and then it just dumped. As it stands right now, it's actually still up above $8. And who knows what could happen with it. It could go, it could keep going, possibly, or because it's held up really really strong, and this was an EF Hutton, uh, uh, you know, play here. So they're not the best underwriter, but they have brought a few bangers in the past, and so you know it's always worth keeping an eye on them. But anyway, I got in with a pre-order at $4, and I think yeah, I sold at $10. As soon as they halted it up and let it run, I watched for that first sign. Excuse me, that first sign, as to where the resistance was going to be, and that $10 resistance was there. And so I had a sell at $11, and I canceled that out, took it down to $10, and I'm glad I did, because I think it went up to $10.79. So if I had kept my $11 order instead of dropping it down to 10, I wouldn't have. Well, I would have got that $10, because it actually did run back up to $10 again, past that again. So you actually had like two or maybe even three chances to get out at $10, um, uh, at minimum. So it's just been a great play overall, especially for folks that were in on the pre-order. Um, I'm definitely happy with it. 150% for the day is great. So I'll bag that and keep on heading on. Um, Now we do have a couple more IPOs that I'm looking forward to personally. As always, none of this is financial advice. Do not trade according to anything that I have to say, because most likely you'll lose money. Um, the last couple I did lose money on. I took a little bit of a hit, nothing major, but I took a little hit, and that's just to be expected, even amongst the best of traders. Nobody's going to be 100%. So, um, it's lately I've just kind of been, not doing a whole lot. I've been kind of just watching and waiting and seeing what's going to happen. And when today was a red day, I actually got excited for this IPO, because on red days, IPOs, or red weeks even, IPOs have a tendency of doing really well, or a lot of potential of doing really, really well. And so I'm glad it panned out that way today. There wasn't really a whole lot moving in the market, and what was green was maybe up 60%. So that was kind of a confidence boost for me this morning, seeing the market red on an IPO day. It doesn't always work like that. That's just as of late. That's historically speaking, as well. Of course, things always change, and you have to be able to adapt with the change. And if you can't adapt, then you'll die. Those are the laws of nature. So and that applies in a lot of different areas. Anyhow, so we have so the next IPO that's listed to go next is ATGL, I think is the ticker, and it's a Hong Kong play, with a really small amount of shares. I think it was like, oh crap, I'd have to go back and look, but it was like around 1.5, I think, 1.5 million shares, something like that. But they're not. They say that they're going to list, that they're closing, I think, tomorrow, for the offering, and I just don't see it happening. This is probably going to be one that they're going to let loose probably a week and a half or 2 weeks from now, unless they somehow miraculously just get a bunch of their shit together all at once, and I don't know. We'll see, because I've seen a lot of things happen. So nothing really surprises me anymore. But I do have a pre-order in on it, and I'm going in with about a $2,000 pre-order, and then we have what was it? GVH, Globovend Holdings, and I do have a pre-order for that one too. Now, I know in my videos, lately I haven't been making a lot of videos really that, that relate to IPOs, but, I have a good reason for that. And I'm not going to, explain as to why, but, I think that it's maybe more effective for me to just maybe not, you know, uh, spill the beans as much. Yeah, I guess to say. So, you know, I'm just going to kind of keep my mouth shut a little bit more about the IPOs. And, when it comes to calling out day trades, I used to do that and I used to do really well at it. And, I'd call out tickers that would, blow up from $4 or $5 on up to 30, 40, 50, $60. I think like the last major one that I called out was ticker KALA. And, you know, they dropped some news that nobody really noticed, and I think it was in after hours too. And I jumped on it at like $5 or like $4.85 or something like that, and rode that sucker on up to $30. 25 to $30 is when I was selling, and I think it went to 60, and that was a huge one. But it's like most people weren't jumping on it until the next day when it was already running up big, and I called it out literally 5 minutes after the news dropped, and it just people had so much time to get in. But in this market, I don't bother doing that crap anymore because it doesn't really matter that much, especially when you have a lot of other influencers that are just kind of pumping garbage to begin with, and they have a ton of followers. So it's like, well, if you're competing with them in a crap market, good luck, type of thing. So it's just not worth my time, not worth the while to make, call outs ahead of time, really. I will with the IPOs. I'll kind of continue to, say what I think, but, before they happen. But I'm not going to give, massive heads up way ahead of time anymore. It's going to be like, a couple few days ahead of time. You'll know my opinion basically from here on out. Anyhow, it's kind of a lengthy video here. I'm probably going to cut it there. I'm not really sure if there's anything else that I should go over, but anyhow, love to hear from you guys. Comment, like, subscribe, all that good shit. And I'll talk to y'all later.